Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another monthly monthly wrap up. It's monthly wrap up time, and I didn't do one at the end of July because I have been super busy at the end of July and throughout August. So we have a lot of books to discuss because we're discussing all the books I read in the month of July as well as in August. Beginning of July literally feels like such a long time ago. I don't even remember these books. I was writing down what all books I read for this video, and I was like, oh, I read that. Wow, great. We're talking about a total of 11 books that I have read, one that I have DNF'd, and one of the books that I have read have it on my Kindle. So yeah, let's get started. So we started off July with Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is a science fiction novel, and Andy Weir is also the author of The Martian, which got turned into a movie, which was very good. If you've seen it, then great. If you've seen The Martian, Project Hail Mary was just 10 times more, 10 times better, everything 10 times better. Because I love Martian. It was one of my favorite movies when I was growing up. I used to watch it every time. It used to be on Star Movies. So reading this book was honestly really fun. What happens in this? I'm not going to tell you too much about the book. I'm only going to say is that Earth has some sort of a problem that is going to cause humanity to basically go extinct. So the scientists, all the people, they have to sort of come up with a solution to this. And then we have Ryland Grace, who is, I think, a professor or something, scientist, and he is chosen for that mission. So the book starts off with him waking up in a spaceship without any memories, having no clue what he's supposed to do, and his other two crewmates are dead. This book is really amazing. I actually have a reading vlog of me reading science fiction books for the past 2 months. So this book is one of them. Watch that video if you want to know more about this book. I genuinely love this book with all my heart. I really hope a movie comes out for this book as well, just like Martian. So yeah, that's our first book. Great start. Then I did my reading romance for a week. Again, go ahead, watch that video. So for that video, the first book I read was King of Wrath by Anna Huang. This is the first book in her new series, King's Sin series, and it does have a few connections, very few connections with the Twisted series, the original Twisted series. So yeah, this book follows Dante Russo, who is he's a billionaire CEO, and Vivian La, who's a jewelry heiress and daughter of his newest enemy, right? So Russo and Vivian's father did not have the best starts in their relationship, and some stuff happened. Vivian's father arranges a marriage between Vivian and Dante, and then the book is just enemies to lovers, forced proximity, arranged marriage, all of those plots, and it was done pretty nice. It was done pretty well. I really enjoyed it. It was typical Anna Huang book. Was it better than the Twisted series? I don't think so, but I definitely thoroughly enjoyed while I was reading the book. Yes, there were cringy moments. I think there were. I don't even remember honestly, but I really enjoyed it. Again, my thoughts about this book is not very fresh, so please go and watch that reading romance for a week if you want much clearer thoughts about the book. But that's what the basic gist is about this. Then I continued with the series with King of Pride by Anna Huang. This book follows Kai Young, who is Dante's friend and part of their sort of millionaire club. And then we have Vivian's friend Isabel. Isabel was honestly one of my favorite Anna Huang women. She was just so real. I just really enjoyed her. And Kai and Isabel were so different from each other because Isabel is literally just a free person. She speaks whatever she wants to speak and everything, and Kai is just epitome of pride. He hates losing his control, everything. He's just pretty much like a statue, a very pretty statue. That's all he is. But yeah, this book was honestly really good. I enjoyed it. For a lot of people, they do not like this book as much as the first one or compared to the Twisted series, but I genuinely had a great time reading this book. Again, for more thoughts, you know what. Right, and then lastly for that video, I read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This is a frenemies to lovers sort of, and a college hockey romance or sports romance. She is a figure skater and he is the captain of the college hockey team, and they're both in the same college. Something happens to one of the stadiums, or not stadiums, but one of the practice places, the ice rinks. So both these people, the figure skaters and the hockey players, they're forced to share one single court, and that is where Hannah meets Nate. This book is a reverse Grumpy Sunshine. She is grumpy, he's sunshine, and it was honestly really good. I really enjoyed it. one major drawback for this book was that it's around 400 pages, and I literally felt like nothing was happening for the first 200 pages, and I was really underwhelmed and kind of just bored. But the second half of the book was so good that it kind of overpowered the negative aspect, and because first half was kind of boring for me, it's not a very highly rated book, but overall I really enjoyed this. The found family in this book was really nice, the friend group, everything was literally amazing. And the second book, Wildfire, I think is coming out later this year, not much later, like a month or something. So yeah, this book was really good. I really enjoyed it. Again, go watch the video if you want more thoughts. Then I read or attempted to read Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. This is a general fiction book, I think, not really a romance book, even though it does say a love story. It's a normal like literary fiction book, and I was so excited for this book, honestly, because everybody kept saying that it's a beautiful book, the writing is amazing, beautiful, poetic, I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I started this book, I read up to page 124 or something. I had a great time, honestly. I was underlining stuff as well because her writing really is very beautiful, but oh my god, this book is so boring. I'm sorry. But you can literally see the indentation. Like, I had my pen over here for literally like 2 or 3 weeks, and the book is bent like this because I could not pick this book up again. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna kill me. It's so boring. It's literally so boring. I'm sorry. Maybe it'll be somebody else's cup of tea, but it's definitely not mine. This book basically follows two people, a boy and a girl. I honestly don't know much about it, so I'm just gonna give a very stupid explanation. So it follows two people, and they're both very weird people. And they meet each other and they decide, oh, we're gonna have 7 more conversations, literally only 7 more conversations, and then we'll see if we got to know each other better. And I think, first of all, that concept is very fucking flawed. If you want to get to know someone, just go and meet them. You don't have to count the number of times you meet them. And then when they were meeting, they were just talking such boring stuff. I mean, I'm sorry, Olivia Blake, I'm sorry, honestly. A lot of people love this book. I'm not saying it's not a good book. I'm saying it's a great book. The writing is very good. But for me as a reader, I feel like this is not my cup of tea, not the kind of books that I like. So I DNF'd this. Sorry. Then next up, I wanted something to make me feel stuff. So I read a horror book. And I read That Night by Nidhi Upadhyay. I honestly had very high expectations when I went into this book, because last year I read a similar book like this, Girl in the Glass Case by Devashish Sardana, I think, and it honestly turned out to be one of my favorite books of that year. And even in general, I do still at times think about that book, and I just felt like this book would be similar, like it'll just move me completely, but it didn't. This book was kind of forgettable, but like, yeah, I would not recommend this to anyone. It was just a very normal book. This book follows a group of girls who are in college together, and they sort of play a Ouija game. Ouija? I don't know how you pronounce it. They play it in their hostel room, and then stuff starts happening, and then we go forward 20 years into the future, and I think one of them is sick or dead. I don't know, something like that. I don't even remember. It was a little weird. It wasn't even horror. Not a very great book. I would give it like a 2.53 stars. Then I read The Dark Forest by Cixin Liu, again for my science fiction video. This is the second book in the Remembrance of Earth's Past series. Is the second book in the 3 Body Problem series, basically, what I'm trying to say. And I really enjoyed this book. Was it better than the first book? I don't really think so, because the first part of the book was just mostly factual, idea based, and the second half of the book was the action stuff, which I really enjoyed. Don't okay. Don't misjudge what I'm saying. The second half of the book was so good. I just really hope if the entire book had the same kind of pacing, the same kind of intensity like the second half of the book, this would have been a 6-7 star read, even better than the 3 Body Problem, the first book. But it wasn't. Sadly, the first book, even though it's very important, the first half of the book is very important. All the factual, all the ideas we get is very important, but it just felt a little dragging. Not even dragging, I'm sorry, I'm being very harsh. It just felt a little slow paced, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, but I definitely loved this book. it's still a 5-star rate. I'm not saying it wasn't good. I'm just comparing it to the first book, and my expectations, that's what I'm trying to say, right? If you don't know what the series is about, it's basically about Earth in the next 4 centuries and aliens, an alien invasion and science, and it's amazing. It's gonna blow your minds. If you haven't read it, what are you doing? And yeah, that's it. I'm dying to read the last book in the series, which I'm gonna do soon, definitely soon. Now we move on to August, the busy month. I didn't read a lot of books, but I did read 5 books, so let's get started. I started off August with Salem's Lot by Stephen King. This is a horror novel, at least I think it is, and I really went into it with very, very high expectations because I've loved each and every Stephen King novel up till now, and I was ready to be spooked and scared, but I wasn't. This book wasn't scary. It was, yes, spooky. The vibes were there because Stephen King is such a great author. He makes you feel exactly what's happening, everything, but it wasn't exactly horror, and I've been wanting to read a horror book, and I've clearly been disappointed. But yeah, this book was great for vibes. It was spooky. Definitely read it into the fall season. It'll be amazing. But yeah, this book, the structure of this book is very weird, which I think is it's okay because this was one of his earliest books, so that obviously the writing style will be quite different from the other Stephen King books that I have read. This book, if you don't know what it's about a small town, Jerusalem's Lot, called Salem's Lot, and it has vampires. That's all I'm going to say because that's pretty much all there is to say about this book. And yeah, the pacing is okay-ish, like it's good, and also has these illustrations which are very, very cool. But I think my main beef with this book is that structure of the book. Like, we finish the book at around here, and then we just have a very, very large epilogue of just new characters. Like, what are the new characters reacting to what happened in Salem? So I'm like, why do I need that? Why do I need to read about 6 million other characters, new characters, when I've already read such a thick book about everything that's happened? And I was just it kind of pissed me off a little bit, and I honestly didn't even read the entire epilogue. I was like, I'm done with the book, I'm done with the main plot, I'm done. I'm not reading the epilogue even though anymore. So it was a good book, maybe just a bit too long and a bit too weird at times. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to give up on my Stephen King thing. I will definitely read more books by him, but I just don't think this was a hit for me, which is kind of sad, but it's okay. I gave this book like a 3.5 stars, I think. I'm not exactly sure. I don't exactly star rate books. I just say that right now in videos so that you get an idea of what I'm saying, right? And I read Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This book is a science fiction thriller mystery, not thriller mystery. Which one has the murder? Mystery, I think. No, thriller. Yeah, this is a science fiction thriller novel, which, why am I moving so much? Sorry. This book is a science fiction thriller novel which introduces us, or not introduces, but which basically talks about the topic of multiverse. And honestly, the aspect of multiverse in this book was very, very scary. It made me glad that we do not have access to a multiverse in case there is one, or if we just don't know. It's very good that we don't know about the multiverse, or we don't know how to enter the multiverse, any of those things. This book basically follows Jason Dessen, who is a teacher at a school, and then one day he gets kidnapped, and when he wakes up in a kind of different reality where he is Jason Dessen, but he's not the just Jason Dessen. He is someone else. He does not have a wife or a kid. He is no longer a teacher. He is a renowned scientist. And then he realizes that, okay, he is in a different universe and some stuff has happened, and he wants to go back to his family. So he enters into the multiverse and goes to each and every universe trying to find his family. And honestly, that travel throughout the multiverse was so interesting and so scary. I really, really enjoyed this book. I was kind of in a reading slump during this book, so it took me a little longer, and that is why I think I didn't fully enjoy this book, because I read this over more than a week, I think. But if I had binged this book, it would have been probably a 5-star read. Not even, it would have been a 5-star read, because I stretched it out because of other things going on. It wasn't a 5-star read for me, but it's definitely a great book. Everyone should read this book. Then I finally read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and oh my god, I loved this book so much. 5 fucking stars. This book is everything. If you don't know what Fourth Wing is about, I don't know what you're doing. This book has been blowing up on BookTok, BookTube, Bookstagram, everywhere, and for good reasons. This book is genuinely very good. This is like House of Dragon meets Throne of Glass, and I just loved it so much. I just loved it so much. I'll give you a basic gist about it, not too much in detail because I do have a video coming up soon regarding this book. But yeah, this book follows Violet Sorengel. She has been training to be a scribe through her entire life. A scribe is basically a historian, right? But then her mother, who is the dean of the college, decides that no, you're going to be a rider, and a rider is someone who rides dragons. So basically, when you enter the college, the Basquiat War College, and you become a rider, you're supposed to bond with the dragon, which is honestly very fascinating. The dragons in this book are just, love them. Their attitude is just to die for, honestly. So yeah, she has to enter the Riders Quadrant of the Basquiat War College, which is basically a death sentence because you either graduate and you're born with the dragon or you die. There is no in between, right? And this book follows her throughout the process of getting into the college, what happens in college, what happens outside of college. A lot of things, a lot of a new universe is introduced to us, which is not very difficult, honestly. It was a very easy read. It's a 700-page book, but I literally flew through this. I loved it so much. Also, this book is enemies to lovers because we have Xaden Ryerson. When Violet enters the college, Xaden is her senior, and he is literally after her life because their parents have some sort of rivalry and something which I'm not gonna get into. I don't want to spoil the book for you, but yeah, the enemies to lovers in this book was so good. It was so good. Xaden, I love Xaden. Yeah, if you have not read this book, please do. It's amazing. If you like fantasy, it's definitely going to be amazing. And if you've not read fantasy before, this is a great place to start because it's very good. Like, it's coming of age. I think it's it's new adult. This is new adult. It's dragons, college, found family. The other characters in the book are just so good. I just love this book completely and utterly with all my heart. Then next, I read a book on my Kindle. I read God of Malice by Rina Kent. This was I just wanted to read a mafia dark romance, so I found this on Prime, which was free for Prime, so I picked it up. And this book is basically a dark college romance, and it's very dark. So please don't read it if you're not okay with it. Literally, I'll tell you what the disclaimer of the book said. This is the author's note in the book. I'll tell you. Cillian Carson, the main character of God of Malice, is a true psychopath, not a make-believe, not a bad boy who's eventually tamed. No, he is a villain with very questionable actions. So if you can't handle morally black characters, please do not proceed. Not morally grey, morally black, which is true. Cillian Carson he's a psychopath. But I really enjoyed this book, nevertheless. It was definitely a different kind of read for me. I don't even know how to explain this book. A main character, name, oh my god, I forgot her name. The female character in the book, she is doing something in her life, and Cillian comes and he sees her and he's like, okay, I want you, and I'm a deranged monster, so I want you in all the weird ways possible. And then a bunch of shit happens, but I'm not gonna get into it because it's just too much explanation for a dark romance. All I'm saying, it's a dark college romance with a morally black character. That's all you need to know. It's the first book in the series. I do not think I'll be continuing with the series, but it was a great book, honestly. I really enjoyed it. If you're in a mood for some dark romance, please go ahead and pick this up. It's honestly, it's a great book. It's a great book, but again, it's going to be great for people who specifically want exactly that. That's what dark romance is, but yeah. Then next, I read Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is the last book, and I'm so sad I did not like this book. I read the entire thing, and I was so hyped up about it because everyone has been loving this book so much, and I wanted to love this book too, but I just did not. I found it boring, and I think the reason why I found it boring is because it's young adult fantasy and very low stakes, very low stakes fantasy, and I do not like low stakes fantasy, I think, for me as a reader. But still, this book genuinely was amazing. Everybody loves this book so much, so please give it a try if you really want to. I can't even explain this book. It's very weird. So basically, in this main character, Evangeline Fox, she is secretly dating this guy, and then one day she wakes up and he is marrying her stepsister. So she thinks that the only reason why this is happening is because he's cursed. So she goes to a fate, who's kind of like a god, like an evil god sort of, people with magic basically, right? And the basic, like the thing that we're told in the beginning of the book is that do not make a deal with the fate, right? Do not, because it'll end bad for you. So but she's so desperate about it that she goes to the Prince of Hearts, who is our main male character in this book, and she makes a deal with him to stop the wedding. And then obviously things go very, very wrong after that, and she gets attached, or so basically, yeah, that's pretty much it. I did not like this book. I'm not going to continue with the series either. But yeah, it's still, you could still definitely try it. It's a great YA fantasy book. I'm not saying it's not good. It's a great YA fantasy book, but again, just not my taste. Yeah guys, so these are all the books that I read in the past 2 months. Please tell me if you read any of these books. Let me know what you felt about them, if you want to read any of them. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.